Welcome to 444 Empath Tarot. Take a deep breath and relax.
Hi Leo, Jen here. I'm going to do your mid-month March reading. That's a lot of M's. MMM. I'm going to pull past energies, excuse me, current energies, what's coming towards you. We're going to pull clarifiers. We're going to pull advice cards. So you're going to want to stay to the end, right? Because that's a lot of information that you don't want to miss. Spirit, let's go ahead and protect Leo's reading from any trickster energies. Only energies and messages for Leo's highest and greatest good. So let's go ahead and dive in here. See what we got. What messages Spirit wants to deliver. Let's go ahead and tap in. One more shuffle, Spirit. All right. So past energy. 9 of Swords in reverse. I love to see it. Current energies, 2 of Cups in reverse. What's coming towards you? 8 of Swords. Don't be scared of that. 9 of Pentacles, clarifying the 9 of Swords. There we go, 9, 9. Clarifying the 2 of Cups is the Queen of Cups. I already got a hit on that. And 8 of Swords, clarified by the Temperance card. Perfect. Let's go ahead and dive in. I'm just going to take a minute to meditate on this energy. Spirit likes to give me messages while I contemplate on them, and I'll be right with you, Leo. Okay, Leo, in the past, if I am speaking to you, I am speaking to a person who here, you survived the 9 of Swords, right? You survived this mental anguish that happens, this anxiety, you know, things that come up late at night where you're sleeping, thoughts, just a bunch of things that ruminate, doesn't allow you to sleep, right? You overcame that because that's in reverse. But what you need to overcome now is the 9 of Pentacles. Leo, it's giving me the energy that mentally, you've surpassed a lot of things, a lot of things that made you anxious, again, things that kept you up at night. But I think what you also need to kind of pivot towards is the need to be self-sufficient. It's almost like it's like a halfway there. It's like, okay, I get it. I'm able to control these feelings. I'm able to have better sleep. But how do I incorporate that into being more independent, right? And that might have come from, if some of you let go of certain notions. It can be negative self-talk, those sort of things. I think for some of you, you're getting your confidence back, right? But there's also a need to incorporate that confidence in your everyday world now. It's almost like you have to mesh the two. You want to be independent here. You want to get that independence. And the way to get that is to really kind of just rely on yourself. Don't be over dependent on things outside of yourself, people, places, things. What do I have? Who am I friends with? How much money am I making? Things of that nature. You really want to kind of pep yourself up. It's giving a lot of positive self-talk. And I think for some of you, you're almost halfway there with that. It's like, let's say you just got out of a situation that was very toxic in nature. It didn't make you feel good, and now you're out of that, and it's almost like, okay, now what? It's almost like putting the pieces together now, gathering your things, gathering that new person that you've become, and then taking it with you so that you can build that self-sufficiency, be more independent in yourself now, right? Now, that was work that I see that you've done in the past. Now, in your current energy here, you have the 2 of Cups in reverse, right? And that to me almost speaks about restoring emotional balance. But when I see the Queen of Cups being clarified, this lets me know that you really are kind of honing in on that almost like me energy, which is great because you are a Leo. You know, that is definitely Leo energy. But I think it's almost like you're focusing on yourself. With the Queen of Cups, it's a lot of self-care here. Lots of self-care. She's very compassionate. She's very intuitive. But this is someone, when the Queen of Cups comes up in reverse, there's a need to put down boundaries. There's a need to kind of, draw a line. She's very moody. She has her emotions all over the place. Some of you could have Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio in your chart somewhere, if you're a moon or if it's in Venus. I think for some of you, you're losing connections with people outside of you. It can be friends, family, co-workers, even a lover, and you're kind of honing in and making it more about yourself, which is good. This gives me, it's not selfish, it's taking care of you. And I think that energy came from the past, where you realize that now that you got the mental part kind of established with the Nine of Swords in reverse, now it's time to incorporate it in the physical and the spiritual. So now it's really honing in on taking care of yourself, lots of self-care, lots of, going on dates on your own, going to the movies by yourself, not really worrying about connections outside of you. And it's not saying that you don't have friends or you don't have people that you can rely on, but this seems more personal. It's almost like a personal journey, and it's not really, there's not an emphasis on who's there. If someone is there, like a friend or family member or lover, that's great, but if they're not, that's fine too. That's the balance there. And on the flip side of that, if there is a need to kind of reconstruct a relationship or restore an emotional balance, that is also there. So it can be going out more, anything that provides any self-care that makes you feel good about yourself. Queen of Cups, she's very nurturing. She takes care of others, but she also takes care of herself very well. Very emotionally mature too. It's the counterpart of the King of Cups. Now what's coming towards you is the Eight of Swords. This is a feeling of almost like you feel trapped, right? You feel trapped and you feel like you need some sort of self-liberation. But with the Temperance card being clarified, I think there's a need to be balanced with it. This isn't the time to rush. I think some of you have gotten like a taste of what it feels like to be independent, to be in a space where you don't care if people don't show up for you. You show up for yourself. But being a Leo, and I have Leo in my chart too, we like to be acknowledged. We like validation. We like to be in the spotlight sometimes. We love that. Sometimes we need it. It shows that as much as we care for other people, they care for us too, right? But while you're going through this transition, this phase, I think there's really a need to really focus on keeping things balanced. You don't need too much of this or too much of that. You don't need too many phone calls from people telling you, oh my God, Leo, I love you, where have you been? Because that may overwhelm you too. What you need to find is a balance, and a balance that doesn't make you feel restricted neither. I feel like I'm speaking to someone who, yeah, they like the attention sometimes, but then they shut down. It's like it drains their battery. So they can't take too much of it. It's like, okay, that's enough, It's almost like a queen, like, tell me you love me. Okay, that's enough. And that's not a bad thing. It just means that, there needs to be a balance. There needs to be moderation, especially with the Temperance card showing up. It comes after the Death card. It comes after transformation and rebirth. And I think that's the phase that you're in now. And as you continue to transition, you might bump into this wall where you feel like, oh my God, no one's reaching out to me. Am I being too isolated? Am I being too... It's not that. And that may make you feel like you've kind of trapped yourself in a hole. This Eight of Swords feels isolating almost. And I think for some of you that may scare you if you isolate too much, but it's okay, just with a balance. You don't need to go out every weekend. You don't need a phone call from people telling you they love you every day. You just need it enough to make you feel that you are worthy in other people's lives, but you are also worthy of yourself too. That sort of balance. Because again, and I keep looking at this Eight of Swords, it's an illusion that she's trapped. If she takes the blindfold off and what's wrapped around her, it looks very light, it looks like tissue, she would realize that I'm not really as trapped as I seem. I'm not in deep waters. If I look around, I can walk around these swords, they're not really trapping me at all. So I think that may be a fear of yours where you may feel like you isolate too much, or maybe you feel like you push people away too much, or you become so self-sufficient and just so kind of in your bubble that you don't get that validation, or kind of that need for interaction that you may want. And that's okay, that's fine. Everything is balanced, as I explained. So let's go ahead and dive a little bit deeper here, clarifying the 8 of Swords and the 9 of Pentacles. Yeah, you put down a burden here. You put down a burden here with the 10 of Wands. That was a completion. You realized there's areas in your life that is just taking up too much room and too much space. This is about having too many responsibilities. I have too many people to check on. I have, I have myself, I have my grandkids, I have my job, I have this person, my friends. It's just too much, too much. I need to focus on me. I need to rely only on me, or at the very least, can someone take care of me? I'm tired of taking care of everyone else. That's the energy that I'm getting here. And with the 9 of Swords in reverse, I kind of feel like these things that have kept you up at night, maybe even feeling unappreciated, you've kind of combated that, and now you have to really focus on how can I be self-sufficient in this energy now. 2 of Cups and 2 of Cups in reverse and Queen of Cups upright. Judgment in reverse. This is almost giving me the energy of an awakening, but how can I say this? It's almost like, whenever the Judgment comes in reverse, there is some self-doubt here. I will say that there is almost like ignoring a calling. And like I said, I know there may be a need to feel like you need people around you, but you don't, Leo. That message is coming in so deeply that I think for some of you, you feel like if you break connections, or if you isolate, or if you focus too much on yourself, that it may feel that you're being selfish. It may come off as if, Leo is being standoffish. She's not answering her phone. She's just, no, Leo's doing her own thing. Leo is taking care of Leo, okay? This is not severing relationships. This is not, we're not friends no more. I don't love you anymore. It's just Leo has to take care of Leo. And if I ignore that calling, and I have doubts about that, then Leo can't move forward, and that may be where this energy is coming, this feeling of trap, where you may feel like you have to be there for everyone when you don't. You can, but you can also be there for yourself too. That's where the temperance comes in. That's where the balance comes in. So let's see, clarifying the 8 of Swords and the Temperance is the Moon in reverse. You know this. This is coming up. This is all your subconscious feelings. This is things that you already know, and you probably don't want to admit to yourself that is all coming up. And it's okay. It's okay to say to yourself, I can put this down so I can be here for myself. The main energy here is that Queen of Cups energy, and you really need to sit in that energy right now. There's a need to be self-sufficient. There is a need for self-care tremendously. And I think that is what's coming up, because upright, the Moon is about illusions and things being, under the rug and under the surface. But with the Moon being in reverse, this just basically lets me know that exactly what needs to be done. It may not feel natural to you because you are the sun overall, and you are used to getting all that attention and all that, all that sun. But it's okay to kind of feel, and it's okay to feel worried that if you push people away, you may not get that, or you're feeling trapped. I get trapped, but it's almost as if it's giving me the Hermit card with the 8 of Swords for some reason, and I don't know why. It's like isolating. It's like the fear of isolation, and that feeling may be what's coming up. Fear that isolating yourself may feel like you're pushing people out of your life. And Leo is very, Queen of Wands energy. very out there. You're a cheerleader for others. So I can understand why that may feel kind of unnatural, but maybe even, let me see here. It's a lot of water. It's a lot of water. There's a need to flow with this. There's a need to go with the flow. It's a lot of mental too. So it's a lot of stuff going on in your head, a lot of emotions. But what I don't see here, really, besides the 10 of Wands, is the fire energy. That's what's really lacking here. You may need to pursue a sort of passion or get back to you. Let's see what advice we have here. Queen of Swords in reverse, and 3 of Swords, and the Star. I think for some of you, you don't want to come off as harsh or bitter. You don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. Especially with the Star coming out in reverse, you know, this is about healing. And when it comes out in the reverse, this is, again, it's about feeling doubt and losing faith in something. But why is that? Does being alone or losing connections bring some sort of self-doubt, Leo? Or feelings of inadequacy? Let's see. High Priestess in reverse. There's something that you need to see and something that you need to realize. Sometimes the High Priestess can have to do with secrets being revealed or even you ignoring your intuition. Don't stay in places where you go against your own intuition. And that can mean, that can go for people too. I feel like this transition that you're going through is very, very tough. You might be having to sever ties with people, places, or things, and you could be literally ignoring those feelings because they're very familiar to you or they feel comfortable. But I think what Spirit wants you to do, or the advice, is not to ignore that. Not to ignore that. You have a lot of cards here that speak about things coming up and about intuition and the need to sit in the Queen of Cups. Now, another thing, there could be a connection in your life that you need to sever because it's not, and it could be that things are coming out. Let's see. The Tower. Yeah. I kind of feel like, so I feel like I'm speaking to someone that is carrying burdens either for a specific person or maybe even for you. This can be a job. It feels like a person. It feels like a specific connection. And you know that this connection is not good for you. What is that? This connection is not good for you at all. And I think you're ignoring that. Give me 1 second here. I have a wasp in here. Sorry, Leo. I have a wasp and I don't want it to bite me. I feel like there's a connection here that it might have you feeling trapped, and maybe you're trying to figure out a way to kind of balance that. Maybe you're trying to walk on eggshells with this situation, but this needs to come down, you know, with the Tower. It needs to come down. This is not on good foundation at all. And it could, you know, if I had to say, it could be with a water sign, Scorpio, Cancer, Pisces. If not, just the energy of, you know, that someone very emotional, maybe even emotionally manipulative. But whatever this is, you will see it in time, especially with the Temperance. I think you're going to see it with the Moon in reverse. This is going to come up. But there's a lot of, you know, it's a lot of energy of there's something you're not seeing. There's a burden that you're carrying, and, you know, God, the universe, whoever you believe in is really kind of nudging you to cut that cord, and you're really kind of holding on to it. Maybe you're trying to be compassionate with the Queen of Cups, but the energy here says that you really need to focus on yourself. You should come first, especially if it's something that is causing a burden for you. So that's what I have for you, Leo. I'm going to go ahead and pull one of these angel cards because I feel compelled to. So let's go ahead and pull one of these. I usually don't. If I feel compelled, I will pull an oracle card. So I'm going to pull one here. Let's see what this says. Leo, you have deep replenishment, retreat, rest, and be held. That's exactly what I mean. You need a lot of self-care. You're carrying a lot of burdens for other people, Leo, and you need to start carrying your own, or at the very least balancing how much you carry for others. You need a lot of rest. You need to be held, and you need to retreat. That's what I have for you. If any of these messages make any sort of sense, leave me a like, comment, subscribe, and until next time.